Banshee is the Bolliger and Mabillard inverted coaster at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. And I got the chance to head to Kings Island just a little over a week ago. While there, I got 3 rides on Banshee, with most being towards the front of the train. When it opened, Banshee was the single largest investment that the park had made, beating out Diamondback by $2 million US. Banshee stands at a height of 167 feet tall, with a 150-foot first drop. Without further ado, this is my review of Banshee at Kings Island. The theming. Banshee is themed to, well, a banshee. What is a banshee, you ask? Well, I did some digging, and a banshee is a female mythical spirit in Irish mythology who screams to foretell death. The area around the ride is very bland. However, there are subtle references to the banshee. For example, the entry sign resembles the spirit, and there are many gravestones in the queue which actually have references to the rides that were removed from the park. Whenever a train crests the top of the lift, you can actually hear a loud scream that is supposed to represent the banshee scream. And now it's time for the fun fact. Banshee is actually the longest and fastest inverted coaster Bolliger and Mabillard has made to this day. Now back to the video. The trains. Banshee has the B&M invert trains. However, Banshee has a key difference to all the other installations of this model. This change lies in the restraints. All the other B&M inverts feature the standard Bolliger and Mabillard over-the-shoulder restraints. However, Banshee features the newer B&M vest restraint, which is being used more on their new coasters. This restraint has some pros and drawbacks. The main pro in my eyes is that I just really like the vest restraints, and I don't think they restrict forces too much. Another pro is just how funny the trains look. The vest restraints are so much wider than the over-the-shoulder restraints, so the trains look much wider than the other trains. The main drawback I see is that I believe these restraints are the cause of the significant rattle. Because there's more weight further away from the track, because of the vest restraints being heavier, I think that the trains are physically shaking due to a weight imbalance. But that's just my theory, and it could be a number of things causing the rattle. The ride experience. Once you board the train, you turn to the left and head up the 167-foot tall lift. Once you crest the top of the lift, you head down the 150-foot first drop. Because of the lack of a pre-lift and the sharp twist at the start of the drop, this drop is easily one of my favorites on an invert. After the drop, Banshee twists up into a very floaty dive loop, which almost has hang time because of how slow it's taken. The next element is a standard vertical loop, which is forceful but not to the extent of something like Raptor's vertical loop. After this comes a 0G roll, which has quite a bit of hang time. Next comes the pretzel knot, which is a fun double inversion consisting of a dive loop and an Immelman. Next up comes a second loop, which has similar forces to the first. After this, Banshee twists up 70 degrees to the right before heading into this very slow inline twist, which offers fantastic hang time. Banshee then drops to the left and then twists to the right into the brake run. This ends your 4,124-foot-long journey on Banshee. Final thoughts. Banshee is a fun roller coaster, but I think it just falls short compared to other inverts like Raptor at Cedar Point, Great Bear at Hershey Park, and even to some extent Silver Bullet at Knott's Berry Farm. This is due to 2 factors. Number 1, Banshee, as said earlier, has a rattle. All the other rides I just mentioned can be shaky depending on what row you ride in, but Banshee is noticeably the worst of the bunch. But at least you do not have those nasty over-the-shoulder restraints, which can cause significant headbanging. Number 2 is just how graceful the ride is. Banshee just simply doesn't have the whip and intensity of something like Great Bear or Raptor, and I just prefer that whippier experience. Overall, Banshee is a fun ride. Just it lacks some qualities that make a great ride. What do you think of Banshee? Tell me in the comments below. Have a good one. Bye.